disbursement vouchers here. This is in your packet.
That's enough education, come on. Evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday, November 14th, 2017. First this evening, I'd like to let the folks that didn't know that Kathy Elf, one of our longtime supervisors, did resign after last month's meeting, as she actually has moved residency and is no longer living in the town. The town board did meet and not interviewed, but listened to 6 candidates that expressed interest, and Andrew Simons, who is down to my right, was selected as the new board member to fill the remaining term of Kathy Elf, which is in April 2018. But is it this? What's the election date? Do you know offhand? 7th or 8th, somewhere in there. But anyway, there is a new member on the board, and we welcome you, sir, tonight. So my first item is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'd ask if you'd lead us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 2, approval of agenda of the meeting. Is there any changes? Hearing none. Item 3, approved minutes from October 10th and November 8th town board meetings. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Motion Patty, second by Dan. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Public comment period. People wishing to address the board, limited to 2 minutes each. Public comment period will not extend any longer than 30 minutes. Everybody in the audience wish to speak? Yes, sir.
Ben P., 72nd Street North. I'd like to know what the board has decided on the paving for 72nd Street. Is there any movement, any bids been received? And also, when's the last time that road was graded? The town bought a new grader how many years ago?
About 3 years ago.
Okay, that's the last time that road was graded.
Well, I
Do
can
we
tell you.
have any better maintenance records than that?
I can tell you that's not the case, but but if it is in need of grading before the winter is, we will. It is. The road has been discussed. I have some preliminary numbers from the county what it's going to cost to do it. It will be presented to the board when we get into the budget, after the budget's been approved, and then we know exactly what money we have for maintenance, and then the board will make the decision on which roads we do. But I do have an approximate price.
You had talked about doing it in a piecemeal, which would be fine with the residents on the road. I don't think the cul-de-sac actually needs to be paved. It could start at the driveways and go north. The north side is pretty good. The south side of 72nd Street from the track south is really ugly.
Understand. We'll get somebody up there. Anybody else? Shirley?
Yeah, 2 things. One is the Highway 13 South rebuild or resurface, maybe that's the proper term, next year, I understand. Is the town going to do the, is it going to be 80-20, or the state or the town doing the 20? Or is that going to be included in the road?
Short answer is the town doesn't pay anything for this project. No, it's a state highway.
That's because when I talked to Mr. Krug, he implicated that it was going to be that the towns along that stretch, or whatever they, Village of Port Edwards or whoever along there would have to pay their share of that road. So it's not.
That's not what I was told by the DOT.
Okay. And the other thing is, last night at the Plan Commission, there was a business representative from a business that has bought up a lot of land in the town for the purpose of either now or in the future putting up the units, the Storage
Stor-
units,
Storage
storage
units.
units. And, so I was wondering, is, for rezoning from agriculture to, commercial, if that's just something that's automatically done, or is there any zoning that the town should look at about storage units, or, when you're talking possibly 20 acres of storage units, and these are, they're looking at possibly, doing, for boats and, campers, and that sort of thing, you know, I don't know if that's something that the town board should be aware of and concerned about.
I can tell you it's at the planning commission stage right now. Any rezoning would have to start there. So,
Is there any separate ordinances for storage units?
it's a condition of a commercial property. That's all I can tell you right now. If you want me to get you more detail, I will, but I don't want to take away from the rest of the meeting to discuss that. But I understand the concern, and I know what the zoning process is. Peggy knows what the process is, and it is just a conditional use that has to be given. So conditional uses are discussed amongst the board members and plan commission members, and the public has input to it. Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll move on to regular agenda items. Monthly reports from departments. The Chief Don Bone, Fire Department.
Good evening, town board, residents.
Evening.
Since our last meeting, the fire department has responded to 35 calls for service, 27 EMS. We had a gas line hit by a contractor up on Eagle Road. We had 5 motor vehicle accidents, a couple fairly severe ones actually. So I just try to pay attention and drive nice with each other. 1 carbon monoxide check, and then we did respond up to Rudolph to assist them on a structure fire up on County Trunk Hole. We typically almost every month will end up with mutual aid of somebody, so we call each other often. Training for the month, we'll be doing a bunch of fire tactics over at Mid-State Tech. I'd like to thank Mid-State for allowing us to use their facilities all the time. Great training facility paid for by everybody, and we use it as much as we possibly can. We did attend our fire inspector seminar over in Green Bay this year. A lot of good code updates, things trying to keep the commercial buildings up to code and compliant. Working with the town of Grant currently to try to make some changes to get a little more bite to try to get some compliance on some relatively serious safety issues in a structure out there. So it's a slow process, but we do inspect the buildings to ensure that people have the best chance of going to a facility and being safe. So we're working on that as we speak. Other than that, fire department has been, we were active at the state cross-country meet this last month. I believe like the 28th of October. Go out there and we provide medical out in the field assistance. A lot of the runners don't quite make it around the course, so we end up bringing them into a triage center and stuff and assisting United and the medical staff that's there to help the cross-country meet. Don't know what the total number of people that are there, but there's a lot. It's a great event for the area, and we go out there and have a good day assisting those people. Once again, I wanted to mention our smoke detector program for people that have smoke detector needs. If you don't have the hardwired smoke detectors in your house, predominantly the older houses in the town and stuff, we have a partnership with the American Red Cross. They're supplying the fire smoke detectors for us. We can come to your house, give you a little brief fire survey, some suggestions, and install the detectors for you free of charge. So if you have anybody that you know that has a house that could use some upgrading, contact either the office here or my office, and we can get somebody to come out and put those up for you. They're actually the good ones with the 10-year batteries, so you don't have to change them every year, and it's a nice program that Red Cross is assisting all the fire departments with. So feel free to give us a holler. We'd love to come see you.
Any questions on the fire side? Pretty quiet otherwise. Safety report, I hope that's quiet too.
Even quieter.
All right.
Nothing whatsoever to report.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Police Chief, Mel Peterson. I was on my Facebook page this morning and a little thing popped up today and it said, Mel Peterson selected by the Police and Fire Commission for new police chief for Grand Rapids 4 years ago today. Congratulations.
Oh, 4 years ago today. Yeah, I guess it was.
That's not when you started, but that's when
No,
you were
yeah,
selected.
Yeah, that would be about right.
Mhm.
Never thought of that one. So, first of all, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to our new count supervisor, Andy Simon. Welcome aboard, and look forward to working with you. So, all right. For the month of October, the Grand Rapids Police Department handled 392 calls for service. That's compared to 413 calls for service of October of last year, about a 5% decrease in calls. Town board members have their breakdown of those calls. The police department issued 71 traffic citations, 67 written warnings, and 24 municipal ordinance citations for the month of October. On October 4th, Sergeant Drinkwine and Mr. Gethers of Infotech attended the 12th Annual Badger Tracks User Conference down to Wisconsin Dells. This conference provided tracks updates, information on mock, interpreting and presenting tracks data, best practices for information technology, personnel, and also maintaining tracks 10. What was new this year, in the past, this has always been a one-day conference. This year it was a two-day conference, so a lot of good information from that conference. On October 5th, the Grand Rapids Police Department participated in the Run with the Cops 5K event at the Centralia Center in Wisconsin Rapids. The event was well attended despite the light showers that kind of went on prior to the event. The event raised over $18,000 for Special Olympics of Wisconsin. October 19th, officers of the Grand Rapids Police Department completed patrol rifle qualification and tactical review with our AR-15 rifles at the Wisconsin Rapids Police Range. On October 24th, Officer Conover attended Dynamics of Officer and Citizen Encounters at the Green Bay Police Department. This training was designed to provide officers with the tools they need to effectively engage citizens in a professional manner without compromising their own safety. The course provided evidence-based methods of simultaneously enhancing public relations while increasing officer safety. The training was sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Justice and the United States Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Wisconsin. On October 28th, the Grand Rapids Police Department participated in Wisconsin Department of Justice-sponsored prescription drug take-back event. Town of Grand Rapids was able to collect approximately 98 pounds of unwanted, expired, or unused pharmaceuticals at our drop box in the front office. That would be 98 pounds since our last event, which I believe was in the end of April.
Yes.
So in that short amount of time, we collected 98 pounds of medications. I'd like to thank again the Wisconsin Rapids Police Department for their services of transporting these medications to Wausau. That kind of big help for everybody here on the south end of the county when they make those arrangements and transport them up there. Finally, the Grand Rapids Police Auxiliary assisted with the WIA State Cross Country Championships at the Ridges Golf Course on Saturday, October 28th. They primarily assisted with traffic control at the main entrance to the Ridges Golf Course for this event. That's all I have.
Any questions of the chief? Go ahead, Bill.
I want to thank you, Chief, for alerting the town about the Wood County Drug Task Force that was held last night.
Yeah.
and Arnie for allowing us to go to it. It was an eye-awakening 2 hours spent there, and I would just encourage everybody to get to one of these. And it was even a tearful event. I mean, I suppose you've seen that before, but it's got to be, even for the parents there, and also, and Dan, he might want to say something, he was there too. I want to thank the town for allowing us to go to that.
It's an eye-opening experience, and I think it really hits home, you know, the extent of the opioid crisis that we have, you know, not only here in Wood County or town of Grand Rapids, but all across the country. You know, I think a lot of times people think that we're immune from it. You know, we're just up here in central Wisconsin, kind of removed from all of that stuff. But boy, it really hits home that you know, that it's right here in our own backyard, and whatever we can do, just the awareness that events like this create through the Wood County Drug Task Force, it makes a big difference. It makes people aware. Yeah, so.
Anybody else? Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
Treasurer Amy Cook. Got some good numbers this month?
Oh, yes.
Good.
Good evening.
Good evening.
For the month of October, current month receipts were $124,855. Current month disbursements were $247,023. Cash on hand at the end of the month was $628,746, with $105,061 in checking, $237,669 in the repo, and $316,354 in the money market. Any questions?
Hearing none, thank you very much. Moving on to item number 6. Consideration of possible action on Resolution 2017-34, a preliminary resolution for discontinuing an undeveloped portion of Daly Avenue, town of Grand Rapids, Wood County, Wisconsin. We have a resident that's interested in us returning that to him. He wants to take that parcel and split it into 3 parcels, so therefore there would not need to be any road into there. The other property that is buying that has an access off of 49th Street and also that undeveloped Daly. Is there anything else you wanted to indicate on that tonight?
Other than the fact,
2 parcels, excuse me. Yep, that's right. You have that packet of information in front of you, board members. Did you have any questions on that?
Yeah, yes. So, may I?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So from 52nd Street to, what is it, 60, still going east on that. And that's going to continue. We have it going like this now. And it's going to stop right here at 52nd Street?
Right. Mm-hmm. So from 49th to 52nd, there will not be that road there. This piece here will be, we only have half of the road.
We only have half of the road. But we also have the half of the road from the 50.
Right, that is still there, and that will stay there. Because 52nd, because that could possibly feed some future development to the, would be the north of it. And this is just the preliminary. It has to go through some legal steps, and one of the legal steps is for the board to talk about it and discuss it and decide if there's any reasons we wouldn't want to consider this. There's several steps that I believe our attorney has to take to actually make this in a form. And I'm not sure about public hearings or anything. I think there may be.
There will be in January, so it'll come back to a public hearing in January.
So you need a motion to proceed.
Proceed with the process. The motion is made by Bill, and second by Andrew. The resolution 2017-34 to give the initial approval for the attorney and the resident to take the action to start the possible removal of the road, partial road, and then eventually the split into 2 lots. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed. Thank you. Item 7, as Kathy Elf did resign, we had some vacancies in the positions that she's held. I'd like to appoint Dan Paulson to be the vice chair, and I'd like Andrew Simons to do the personnel with Dan Paulson, and also do the public safety with myself. That would be my recommendation. Would the board approve?
Make a motion to approve the chair's appointment.
Motion Bill, second Arnie. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. I'm an aye, any opposed? Thank you. Consider impossible action on Edward J. Acre subdivision. We took this to the sanitary district a few days back. Sanitary district indicated they felt they had nothing to do with it, no reason to do anything with it. However, through confirmation with the town's attorney, it is within their powers. They kept indicating that it was not. But irregardless, the residents did ask that if we would look to see if we would consider doing some more camera work on the area. I did contact Steve's Plumbing. Steve does have a camera that could go in there, and it's cable pushed. In other words, it's not propelled by airstream or water stream or anything. And he has a cable which is about 200 feet. There's about a total amount of somewhere close to 1,000 foot, but there are several entrance points that have covers over that can be removed. The cost to do a video of it with the camera, and he felt that on a 12-inch pipe he could get a pretty good view, would be about $1,000.
Make a motion to approve.
That was simple, huh? Motion by Bill, second,
I'll second.
by Patty for discussion. So what we would do is we determine if there is any other collapsing with the pipe as best that we can. And then if we do find something, then we're going to have to look at what is the plan to resolve. Okay?
And when is that gonna take place? Did you say?
He said their schedule isn't too bad, that he could do it within a few days.
That's good, because the water table was down low.
Yeah, we would want to do it before
Right.
spring, that's for sure.
Are we gonna continue any discussion with sanitary on possibilities down the road?
Yeah, they indicated that they would possibly share some of the cost. Andrew, they even at one time kicked it around that they would pay half of our cost to do this. They have about 28,000 in there. Bill, is that right, Bill? 28,000? So, I mean, they can pay some of it back to the town if they do choose. However, the big discussion is if there's something major and we find out this is now a $200 or $300 or $400,000 repair, what do we do? So I guess we won't cross that bridge yet till we know what we have to work with. So, Dan?
So they're gonna go in there with this camera and they're gonna push it through. If they hit,
If they find something, they're gonna back out.
find some
obviously.
debris, they're gonna back up. They're not going to
Right.
try to push through
I-
or power through.
I told them I didn't want anything powered because I don't want to cause anything. He said his device has got bigger wheels on it, so if there's sediment, which we believe there's a sediment trail there, that he should be able to push it through. We're hoping that he can get far enough in from one end and then turn around and come from the other end to get the lengths. Those drops, I don't know exactly how far apart they are.
Is this a per hour rate or is this just $1,000? So if he gets in there, he's a half an hour into this and he realizes hitting stuff, we're gonna have to pull out.
Well, and that could be dictated by whoever's with him, myself.
Right.
He did, when we first talked about it, I thought that first section was about 500 foot. And he said, well, $450, $500 would probably cover it. So now that it looks like there's actually more than that, I just used the ballpark figure of $1,000. So I would think it would be within that.
Because I don't know, I know sometimes they charge just a flat rate, be 1,000 regardless, or,
No, his labor rate is primarily by hour, but, so I'm going to guess that's $150 an hour roughly. Is there any other questions? Go ahead.
Can you please specify the streets that's gonna go on? Is it going up 64th from?
No, just the metal pipe. The metal pipe is on from Wood Avenue down to past Lenox. There is no other metal offshoots. The rest is concrete.
So Lennox to Wood,
Yep.
to the,
To where we spliced it in between Lenox and W. All on 64th Street. Mhm. That's where the metal is. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? All right, we'll move forward. Item 9 is approve a agent change for the store, 4010 80th Street South to Angel Lucas.
I'll make a motion that we approve Angel Lucas as the new agent for the store.
Second.
Motion Dan, second Bill. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed. Item 10, disbursement vouchers. Any questions on the vouchers?
I was looking on page 17 on the vouchers and.
That's not vouchers.
Or vouchers, but,
That's
Summary.
oh, the summary, sorry. And I just was making a note this morning about the snow and ice expenses,
So where do you see the page number?
up here in the upper right-hand corner.
it's not on, it's on.
It's on the voucher page.
17.
Okay.
So we ended the last snow season with approximately $22,000 over the budget for snow and ice removal. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
Okay, so are we, what's your feelings on that as a whole,
Well, we were under on other lines and which balanced that budget out, so there is no, the budget still is a net savings to us. I think we're still projecting about $100,000 under budget, total budget, so we're fine. We know that snow and ice, and we had a lot of ice this last year, and we were out already this weekend with some salt, just unfortunate part of Wisconsin weather, you just never know. Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, then we'll move to our operator license applicants. I believe we have one, a Jesse D. Voigt for Hoozles, 1 year, and it's been approved by the chief, I assume. Any questions, concerns, or a motion?
Make a motion to approve Jesse Boyd.
Motion, Patty,
Sorry.
that's all right. Motion Patty, second Andy. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed. Item 12, monthly reports from committees. First off, Public Works. Most of all the plows are on, ready to go. The culvert that we replaced on 64th Street up by the railroad tracks, close to 54, was replaced. The road was paved and repatched, or patched there, and we patched a small piece of 64th Street near the cranberry bogs. That was pretty bad shape, so we also did that at the same time. That's done. I think at the last meeting you gave me the approval to go ahead and apply for a LRIP grant, Local Road Improvement Grant. I'm here to tell you that we were successful in being selected for the road project, and we'll receive on that project $20,403. And I'm estimating that total project cost to be $40,000, so we're at about 50% payment on that project. Awesome deal, that's what I say. Last month or so, we also talked about the traffic study for Wazeecha. I have that about 3/4 done. I have the road counts, I have the driveway counts and all that, so we'll be wrapping that up and have that ready to go back to legislative in the very near future. Any questions on Public Works? Move across this time, we'll go to Airport Commission. The Taxiway B project that was started this August is nearing completion. They painted the stripes on the approach yesterday. The shoulders of the area are being seated, which I believe it should be done today. The LED lights for the runway were on back order. They are supposed to be delivered Friday, so we hope to have that project wrapped up and put away because snowfall's coming. So we also got the final approval for our short runways rebuild for next year. That is a 3,600 foot long runway that is 50 foot wide. The state and the feds approved a widening to 60 foot wide, and they're going to grind and remill and relay the entire 3,600 feet. And that project will start early in the spring, and we're hoping to start that with our airport tarmac and other taxiway extension that we received that $4 million from the State Department of Transportation in the form of a grant. And that grant is 100% paid. That's not an 80-20 or a 95-5-5. That's 100% paid, $4 million. And that project should start in first part of August. And it will likely not be finished the year, but we will have all the grading hopefully done and the stuff ready for asphalting when they start the asphalt season up right away in the spring. So, questions on the airport other than traffic was down? Not seeing as many jets come in anymore. Mm-hmm.
On that grant,
Mm-hmm.
is that something that we have to use in 2018, or can we carry those funds over?
The 4 mil?
Yeah.
The 4 million is a 2018 or 19 project,
Okay.
so it can carry over. Mm-hmm.
But by the end of 19,
Whatever is not used goes back to this. Goes back. Mm-hmm. We'll have a better handle on what each section will cost in January of this year. The engineers are working on the design. They were again back there just the other day doing soil borings and site evaluation for any historical archives or anything buried in there. They had to look for that. That's done. And then what we call a 30% project will be drawn out. That will give them a pretty much be able to tell them what each section will cost, and then the commission will sit down and say if we can do the whole project or if we have to cut back and only do a portion of it. We're hoping to be able to do the whole project. Questions? None? Over to Bill, recycling solid waste.
We had a meeting on October 6th, and I did that report on October 10th.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Move down to Plan Commission. Patty?
We met last night. We reviewed all the yearly dog exemption reports, and the nice thing about it, this past year, we didn't have any complaints for the 3 dog exemptions, so that is good news. We didn't have any complications with that. We met with Jamie White, Storage Unlimited, in regards to the storage units. She was inquiring about the future development of some parcels that they own in the town and what areas were for zoning. So she's gonna take that and then work with Peggy a little bit more as far as the plans that they've come up with. Also, we discussed and recommended to the legislative committee, the mobile food vendor. I guess we didn't actually do the recommendation yet. We edited some more things on the mobile food vending licensing permitting for the town, and we'll finish that up next month and hopefully move on with the recommendation to the legislative committee. And then also, we started discussion on building setbacks on corner lots, which were, the attorney is going to get back to us with some ideas, and then what that is what's going to be happening, or hopefully working with, giving more authority to the plan commission to make decisions on a case-by-case basis rather than going to Board of Appeals for changes or allowing things within the setbacks. And I think that was about it.
Any questions? Public buildings, Dan?
We, pretty much all the projects that we're gonna do for 17 are complete and done. But 2018, we have, looking at doing some possible remodeling and starting to work on that. So, but other than that, everything should seem to be working good.
Feels like our heat's working good, huh? Any questions on the buildings? Legislative committee has not met. We will be waiting for Plan Commission to give us some recommendations on the mobile food vendor, and at the same time, then I will have the study done for the possible change in speed limit on Wasatch Avenue.
Do you think that will be in December or when?
Yeah, we should be able to wrap that up in December for, we could probably meet late December or early January legislation, I would assume.
Any other questions? Public safety, Andy, you got anything? Not yet, huh? You will. Economic development, Patty.
The Central Sands Groundwater Committee Group met on October 4th from 2 to 4. It was a very interesting meeting. It was in regards to the Little Plover River and the watershed enhancement project that they've started there. The gentleman, Tracy Hames, who is the executive director of the Wisconsin Wetlands, made a presentation, and he went into great details into regards of how wetlands are so important to have for our groundwater, and also how that affects the watershed project. The Wetlands Committee bought something like 120 acres, I believe it was, and from one of the local farmers to do enhance a really big study on the wildlife and how watershed affects groundwater. So he's also, this property, they're trying to get it converted back to wetlands, and also because the farmland was actually ditched and drained a lot of the, in order for the farmer to farm it, and that really affected the Little Plover River, which that's how many years has that been going on, Bill? The Little Plover River study? Do you know that?
Back in the 60s.
Yeah.
Back in the 60s when they first did the study.
Mm-hmm. So they're trying to change this property just to convert it back to help the Little Plover River. So it was very interesting. The next meeting is November 28th from 2 to 4 at the Saratoga Town Hall.
Any questions? If not, anything on interest for town? Any update on building permits, anything you have or not?
I didn't get a report from Peggy last night because she wasn't at the meeting, but the last I heard, we had approximately 23 new homes in the town.
All right, sounds good. Personnel Committee, Dan, was there any meeting?
No, there's
Okay. WTA meeting, I guess we were in, is it Hewitt we were at, Bill?
Town of Marshfield, and
Town of Marshfield and Hewitt. They talked primarily about the new STEM building that was up in Marshfield, science and technology improvement that they did, and briefly about the possible, which now is true, that the two-year centers in Wausau and Marshfield are now tied to UW Stevens Point for their main source of cooperation. And I think that's, I guess I don't really know, but they anticipated that there would be some more be able to sharing of courses. Some of the two-year schools could actually offer some more of the four-year grades, and which would save some of the housing costs for some of the people to get their four-year degree. They still have to finish it at the four-year, but they could take more than just 2 years worth of courses. Okay. Anything else, Bill?
Well, yes, and it was brought up, this is the 70th year of the Towns Association, and it started right here in the town of Grand Rapids with Ben Hanneman, who many of his relations still live here, in 1947. And now it has been suggested that since we are in District 2 of the Towns Association, that we're planning for a 75th anniversary. It's going to be a 5-year plan, and the Towns Association is going to send people around to do questionnaires and talk to some of the people that was at the first one. I've seen pictures of it. Buzzy Warren, if people know him, he's related to it. You know, he's related to Ben Hanneman. So we want to get people that are still living to talk about it, and at our 75th wedding, and our 75th anniversary is when they'll take home. So.
You were on the board then, right?
Just barely. I was in a cradle.
Reports of individual board members. Bill, you're there first. You want to go? Anything?
Well, I just like to elaborate on what Shirley said about the roads. It was over the radio, and Representative Krug was there, and at the last meeting, sorry about that, but Chief went and said about the roads being from Tractor Supply down to that. So the question was asked of Representative Krug of how long this has been in the planning, and he told all that story. And then at the end, we're wondering why the city of Wisconsin Rapids wasn't involved in that. And that's when it come out on a call back on the radio. It was, what do you, how did people know about this? And he says, well, the towns. But if the city of Wisconsin Rapids is going to get involved, they're going to have to pay their fair share of that road work, just like the towns and the village and the town of Saratoga, town of Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
And that's what was said.
I don't know where that came from, but when I was at the DOT meeting, they indicated to us that there was no cost. This is maintenance to it. It's not a rebuild to it, but basically what they're going to do is they're going to remove the concrete from Tractor Supply all the way up to Ranger Road, and they're going to put in gravel, and they're going to repave it blacktop. And then from Ranger Road to what we call Smoky Joe's Corners, or the 1373 corridor, where it narrows down to 2 lanes, they're going to repair the concrete sections that are deteriorated. Their study didn't indicate that it was bad enough that it couldn't be repaired, so there will be some sections anywhere from 8 to 12 to maybe 30 feet out that will be torn out and repaved, and that will stay there. So that's the patch to it. And the first I heard about it was probably earlier this spring when I got a letter inviting me to go to a meeting. That's the first I heard about it. So it wasn't any projects that that we typically know a year or two ahead. Like, for example, I know that there is a County Trunk U project that's going to go from Highway 54 to the Beer and Mill, where that's going to be repaired with concrete made to stand 98,000-pound loads of pulpwood going into the mill. And that's a 2019 project, and there's been meetings on that for probably 2 years now, and the engineers.
Okay,
Yep. I have nothing else. Lisa, you got anything tonight? Andy? Oh, did I roll?
We say look at each other like that. Okay, Andy, take it. What you got, Andy?
Dan, do you have anything?
Now I'm off, my notes are. No, I attended that information meeting last night, that drug force at, down by Shopko, I can't think of the name of the church, but phenomenal meeting, very educational. Thank you very much for sharing that and allowing us to go, because it is amazing what they find, how they see it, and what's going on out there. And anything we can do to help, please, let's get the word out. And I wish it would have been better attended.
There were about 55 people there.
Yeah, and too bad there wasn't 255, but they said they're gonna keep it out. They're gonna try different stuff within the community. They're reaching out to the schools. They're doing their part, and sponsored by the Spirus Foundation, I believe, had a big part, and so very good information. So.
Any questions of Dan? How long a time frame was it? How many hours did you go?
2 hours.
Yeah.
It was 6:30 to 7:30.
Yeah,
He was there for the pizza.
I didn't get there till after that. Bill already had all the pizza gone.
I had the pizza already gone.
No, we got done about 7:30, 8 o'clock by the time we walked out of there. So it was about 6 to 8.
I want to make sure you get your fair compensation. Patty?
I just wanted to remind everyone, I gave copies of the UW Extension. They invited us to a
Basically a round table.
a round table
Yeah.
discussion, and so they wanted to have RSVPs by the 17th, so I just want to do a reminder.
I am going. I'm already registered.
I'm unable to go, but I'm going to send in my ideas you can
Sure.
also send in your ideas if you're unable to attend. So that's what I'm going to do, because I'll be working that day.
Anything else?
I'll give you a copy of this too, Andy, so.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Arnie has nothing? Now, Lisa.
I do not have anything.
Now, Andrew.
Well, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank you guys for the appointment. I'm really excited to be here and serving the town. I'm excited I've been immersing myself in all of the budget and the things and the documents that Lisa's given me and everything to review, and I'm looking forward to get involved with the public service agencies that we have here in our town. I think we have great public service, everything from Public Works, the police department, the fire department. Very proud to be a part of this board and help these services continue in our town. So look forward to do that. Looking forward to working with you guys. I want to start attending the fire department meetings and get as involved as I can. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Amy, what are you going to start doing in a couple of months?
I will start the tax season, yes.
Tis the season.
Tis
Yes,
the season.
tis the season.
Nice knowing you.
Be kind, everyone, be kind.
Get a sign
Bear
for
with
the door
me.
like that.
Yeah.
Be kind.
Yes, bear with me.
Item 14, public input. Anybody else in the audience wish to speak for another 2 minutes on any topics? Hearing none. Yeah, where's Mr. Head tonight? We lost him. Any items for the agenda specifically? If not, we'll take them as you come. Item 16, Grand Rapids Town Board move into closed session pursuant to stats 1985, Prin 1, Prin C, consider employment compensation data of any public employees over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility, to discuss contracts with the police chief, fire chief, clerk, treasurer, Teamster represented employees. Motion by Bill, second by
I'll second
Dan. Roll call vote. Bill,
it. Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Patty, Andy,
Aye.
Arnie. Aye, we are in closed session. Thank you very much, folks. We'll give the camera guy a few minutes to take down.